All right, we are back after a well-deserved week off, I might add, by the way. It is the Carton Show. We're playing music. Well, it's only two of us here. I'm sitting. It's crazy here at FS1. God knows what's going to happen next. I might be laying down and posing with an apple in my mouth. That guy right there playing a little bit under the weather today is Green Bay Packer Hall of Famer Greg Jennings. Wait, hold on. Time out.
Yeah.
If you can flex, take off the ace bandage. I mean, what are we doing here, huh?
We just putting the team on our back a little bit. That's all we're doing.
Anyhow, it's a two-man ride all the way to 12 o'clock. Little programming note, though, for those of you that have enjoyed us over the last few months. Next week, we go back to our regularly scheduled time, 7 a.m. to 9:30 Eastern time. But you get us right here for the next week. So let's enjoy it, and let's start off this Monday, Gregor, the way we start every Monday off, a little something we like to call Headlines. Look at that handsome guy right there. And yes, he's going to play. I was worrying about this when I watched them embarrass themselves against Tampa Bay this weekend with a lackluster offensive performance, and Aaron on the sideline. And the New York Jets have not officially announced it, but all the beat reporters are announcing, Greg Jennings, that your guy, my guy, Aaron Rodgers, is going to step on the field of play for the final preseason game against the New York Giants. I got to tell you something right now. I like it.
Absolutely. I love it. This is him making a statement. Look, I want to see how it looks. I want to be in the midst of what we're going to be on the field with come week one, prior to just starting week one, having not taken any snaps. Obviously, you know better than most of us, like there's issues up front with the offensive line. He wants to solidify that. He wants to see how this offense runs with him at quarterback without going into week one having not taken the snaps. I absolutely love this approach by Aaron Rodgers. And
look, I think we all have gone to the place where we minimize preseason for veterans because of the injury risk, obviously, and it's more about guys on the bubble trying to make a team or rookies understanding a system and all that. But he is new here. I know it's the old Nathaniel Hackett system, which he is very familiar with, obviously, when Hackett was his offensive coordinator in Green Bay. But he's never been on a field with live tackling with Garrett Wilson. He has not been on a field now with Dalvin Cook in the backfield. The offensive line, to be fair, there have been 9 different guys in 5 positions in the first 3 games. So I think it's smart. He's going to play, figure a series or 2, get the cobwebs off maybe a little bit, get some timing down, and I think it's a really smart idea, assuming that it happens.
Yeah, look, if Aaron Rodgers steps on the field, it's primarily because he wants to be on the field.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that this isn't because of the New York Jets and the coaching staff, but all offense aside, the fact that he has moving parts that are new, he's never played games. You just alluded to this. He's never been on the field in live situation with these guys, these 10 other guys.
And let me stop you there because I know a lot of you say, well, wait a minute, fellas. They had live practices against Tampa prior to the game. They did live practices against Carolina. But one of the rules of those live practices is that you're not allowed to sack the quarterback.
That's the rule of practice in any football.
You can touch him. You can't hit him.
You can't touch the quarterback. You can't even touch him. So he hasn't really truly felt the pressure that he possibly will feel in a regular season game when it's live. This is why you get out there. You want to take those hits. As a receiver, as a player, period, you want to get hit prior to you actually starting the season to kind of knock that little nervousness off, some of those cobwebs, get some of those rusty throws out of your system in the preseason so you can go into the season running on and clicking on all
there's something to be said about just feeling good, because there's a couple weeks between their final game and the actual start of the season, obviously, as the preseason games come to an end. He has not played in a preseason game since 2018.
Right.
So this is a big deal that he'll be playing a couple snaps against the New York Giants this weekend. Plenty of time to talk about that. Headline number 2, if you're a San Francisco 49er fan, you wanted to see Brock Purdy.
You did.
You needed to see a little taste of your now QB1, Mr. Brock Purdy. And I know it's preseason. I know you could write it off as it don't mean nothing, but 4 out of 5, 65 yards, and picked up right where he left off, making good decisions. Short throws, but making good, consistent throws in the few possessions he had.
Yeah, this was important. The fact that you see him out there on the field in preseason, not just week one, but preseason in a game that doesn't mean anything, it lets me know that he is getting closer to 100%. I know they're saying he's 100%. I'm of the belief nobody is ever truly 100%.
Right, including you.
Brock Purdy, realistically, so I had ulnar nerve transposition surgery.
Tommy John action.
So it's quite similar to what Brock Purdy had. You lose your grip. So you want to know, can you throw that ball? Can you take that pressure of the snap? All the things. I'm not comparing myself to Brock Purdy, so don't even do it. I can see your mom.
No, I'm just wondering, are you a righty?
I am a righty.
That means you're doing a lot of things lefty for the first
gosh.
time. I'm just saying. Like, have you ever tried to do things lefty?
I have.
Okay, like you brush your teeth lefty,
my teeth lefty,
eat lefty, clean it up lefty, the whole bit? I'm just saying. If you've ever had to do it with the opposite hand, that ain't easy.
It is weird.
It ain't easy.
You get a little messy sometimes.
It can be.
Look, we're being honest.
Yeah, no. That's the first thing I'm thinking of. My man ain't clean today. That's the only that's the first thing I was thinking, but that's just the way I think. Anyhow, I'm glad you're on the road to recovery, as is your family. Headline. Listen, it's another story for another day. Like you ever sat on your hand to make it numb so it feels like you're, never mind. Okay. Oh, what's your name, Billy? In any event, headline number 3 is your guy. I know you're all pumped about this.
You already know I am.
New York Giants quarterback Daniel Jones did get some snaps in the Giants preseason game. And I got to be honest, my man looked good. The offense looked good.
Say it again.
8 out of 9, 69 yards, a touchdown. Now, this goes back to Friday night if you missed it. Of course, Darren Waller was a big part of it. He had 3 catches, 1 drive, 1 score. And I can tell you this, as a guy that grew up in New York, did sports talk radio in New York for a long time, it's one meaningless drive in the preseason. But you saw a little glimpse of what the Giant offense could be. No guarantee it will be. But you saw a little glimpse of the maturation of Daniel Jones having Darren Waller healthy and on the field, and it could be something special.
I probably should be a little bit reserved here because it is the preseason.
No.
But it's Danny Dimes, baby, so I'm not. This is what I've been trying to tell you about.
It was preseason.
I don't care that it's preseason.
Yeah.
This is meaningful football. Every snap you take is important when you're Daniel Jones and you just signed that deal.
Yeah.
The fans want to see that you've taken a step in the right direction. Your coaching staff, the players around you. Obviously, you add Darren Waller to the table, and now you're seeing a guy who looks a lot more comfortable in the pocket. He's always been a pretty accurate quarterback. I just love his poise right now, the way that he's playing. And again, it is preseason.
Yep.
But this is what you want to see. When you have a starting quarterback and you signed him to a long-term contract extension, you want to see that our franchise is in the right hands. And Daniel Jones, he's going to prove me right this year. Let's go. I knew it.
You've had him in your top 10 for a long time. I wonder later in the show if Danny Jones moves up in your top 10. We will find out. But the one thing, again, if you watched any of Friday night's game, the thing I personally love about Brian Daboll, he didn't have the guys out there running through things that they wouldn't do in the regular season. Mm-hmm. That was their offense. And what I mean by that, and you guys can show the highlights again, it'll back up my point here real quick. It was Daniel Jones out of the pocket to the right, making a good decision, finding an open receiver. It was Danny Jones slightly coming to his left, finding the tight end for a touchdown. That's their offense because Daniel Jones is one of the most mobile quarterbacks in the NFL. So it wasn't like we just put him on the field and said, 3-step drop, quick release, all right, get off the field. It was, this is our offense. Let's see it.
Yeah, this is what it's going to look like. Like, you play to the strengths of the guys that you have on your offensive unit. That's why I like what Daboll has always done at the position of being a head coach with Daniel Jones. Last year, we saw him lean into his strengths, allowing him to be more RPO heavy, run the ball. Now you're going to see him rolling out a little bit more so that if he does need to use his legs, he can use his legs. But what this does, and I'm not trying to minimize the game for Daniel Jones because I think that he can play the entire field from the pocket, but you allow your quarterback, when you roll him out to the right or to the left, to just play one side of the field. Now you read from the safety on, whichever way you're rolling out, the play is condensed, the defense is cut in half, you make quick, decisive decisions, get the ball out of your hands, or you run with it.
Yeah, and the thing with him is he ran for 700 yards last year, and they were design runs, talking about Daniel Jones. Now you get him out of the pocket, and it's an option, right? He can run because you know he can, but also if you're a defensive back or a safety trying to figure out, am I going to get Daniel Jones or is Darren Waller behind me?
Because he's a
They have
threat.
Optionality now.
He's a threat.
But his
He's always
Giants
been a
offense
threat.
might be pretty
And I will
good.
say this, they look really good. Now, this is not just Daniel Jones. This is going to be a well-coached team. We saw this team win close games
Every
last
game
year.
they won was a score or less.
We saw that, and we kind of make it seem like, you can't play that way. Well, when you're a very well-coached team and you're getting by, that's how you have to win games. This year, we'll see. They're going to be a well-coached team. They have great depth. I love it.
Oh, we got much more on the Giants and his
Yes.
favorite quarterback, Daniel Jones, coming up a little bit later in the show. Headline numero cuatro, which is 4 in Hebrew, is the New York Yankees. Now, why do I bring up the New York Yankees? Well, if you're talking baseball on FS1, you're talking Yankees, Dodgers, and whoever front runners in first place. But right now, the New York Yankees have done something that they have only done 1 or 2 other times in the last 40 years, and that is lose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 consecutive games. They get blown out. They lose in high-scoring games. They lose in low-scoring games. And let's just call it the way it is, folks. They're an embarrassment to the pinstripes that the New York Yankees are famous for. Their batting average is anemic. Their runs scored is anemic. Their pitching stinks. And they are now 4 games under 500, 9 games out of the wild card, and this season is a wrap.
Yeah, this is their first 8-game losing streak since, I believe, 1995.
Which I think is 92 years. That's a long time.
But, when we were going into the All-Star break, the talk was, once you get Aaron Judge back, this team will turn it around. That just hasn't been the case.
No.
That typically is what happens when you are out of the lineup and you don't have that chemistry, you don't have that flow going with one another. It just looks awful. And they're missing plays like this. This is a bad team right now.
I'm not going to lie to you. I think the Little Leaguers from Chinese Taipei could beat the Yankees right about now. They got some real sluggers on that squad.
They would love to play the Little Leaguers from Chinese Taipei.
By the way, Carlos Rodon might get a strikeout for the first time in over a month. And even yesterday, tie game in the 8th inning against the Boston Red Sox. There's controversy in a Yankee game. Watch this play, right? IKF for Anthony Volpe. Left fielder falls down. Go home. Okay, I'll go home. Relay throw. Safe. No. Relay throw. You're out. And it got reviewed, and he was out. And it took about 6 minutes later for the Red Sox to score the go-ahead and ultimately the winning run as the Yankees get swept by the Boston Red Sox. Listen, I've been a fake Yankee fan.
Fake Yankee fan now.
For the last 2 years. All right? And I want to tell you, in my entire Yankee fandom, I've never felt as low as I feel right now. They're an embarrassment.
Oh, my.
They've embarrassed the Steinbrenner name. They've embarrassed the city of New York. And frankly, they're dead to me until next year.
Yeah, have you ever thought to yourself, like, maybe I am the problem? The fact that I'm a fake Yankee fan and I'm trying to act as though, impose as though I am a real Yankee fan, only when they win.
Yeah.
Just
No, I've been
go
very
back to
clear
the
about
Mets.
my fake fandom.
Just go back to the Mets.
I can't do that.
Just
Even
go.
back in 2009, I opened up a church. Mets fans for Yankees. Yeah, it was very popular. Yeah, very popular. I even conducted 3 weddings, so I'm very, very popular, Pastor.
So
in any event, we got lots.
So
it's a true
bad.
story. We got lots cooking for you here on the Carton Show coming up. Jerry Jones has spoken again, but it sounds eerily like something he said last year, and the year before that, and the year before that, and the year before that. And let me check my notes. The year before that. We'll tell you what it is right after this. Good morning, everybody.
Hey, college football fans, Joel Klatt here. We are bringing you the best college football analysis every week. Any questions? Then send them into the Joel Klatt Show mailbag. Follow the Joel Klatt Show on the Fox Sports app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Mike McCarthy, of course, Dallas Cowboys And good news, if you're a Dallas Cowboy fan, Jerry Jones spoke about the Cowboys' upcoming 2023 season. And here's the direct quote from him. You shouldn't give up the ghost, is that right? Because you fall short in, I don't know what the hell that means. But here's the gist of it. I think this year we're in better position to win it than we have been in years. We have the team and we have the quarterback. Okay, by the way, if that was an owner randomly coming out on the eve of another season saying, boy, I love my quarterback, I love my team, I don't want to jinx him, but we got a good shot, I accept that. We can debate it, right? Here's the issue with it. Can I go back 12 months and show you a quote from Jerry Jones?
Can you?
If I may. I believe that I can, or 2022. This is a year ago. At the same time, here's a quote. Go full screen and that so I can read it to you. By Jerry Jones. Cowboys are in better shape to make a run at a championship than they were blah, 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 blah. Talking about McCarthy, of course, and the receivers and the newcomers. And if you go back 12 months before that, Jerry Jones said the same thing. And 12 months, but here it is, 2021. We have a core base like the championship years. So every single year, for the past 25 years, Jerry Jones has said publicly on the eve of the start of a season, y'all, I think this year we got the best chance of winning a title. That's with Dak Prescott.
Look, the problem is like this, he's not lying. They do have a phenomenal roster.
Yeah.
They had it in 2021 when we saw the very last quote that you put up. 2022, they had a great roster. The problem is they don't get it done when it matters most in the postseason.
Right.
It doesn't matter how great your roster is. If you get out-executed and out-coached in the most important time of the season, which is the playoffs, if you are fortunate enough to get in, it doesn't matter. It's mano y mano. It's my guy versus your guy, my coaching staff versus your coaching staff. And they have lost those battles. Look, the Dallas Cowboys this year have a phenomenal roster.
They do.
The one problem that I see out front of them within their own division is the Philadelphia Eagles roster is even better.
Yeah, but you don't have to win the division.
You do not have to win the division.
Win 11 games,
but you have to be able to execute when it's most expected for you to execute. Dak Prescott has failed them. Mike McCarthy has failed them.
Yeah.
Their team has just simply failed when they've been asked to be their best.
I will say this. There's an aspect of, listen, I've said on the show many times, Jerry Jones is my favorite owner in all of sports. He is. And I know he's not had the success that should equate to being my favorite owner, but he's my favorite owner because he's willing to do whatever he can to try to build a championship team. He don't play quarterback. He's not the middle linebacker, et cetera, right? And I'm with you. And I'm with Jerry Jones. I think they have the talent to make the run. And they're not the best team in their division. There's a chance if the Giants offense is for real that they're the third best team in the division. And yet, it still comes down to one guy, like most NFL franchises do, and that's the quarterback. And outside of diehard Dak Prescott fans, you cannot say today that you are confident that he is the guy that's going to lead you to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, the problem is with Dak Prescott is he's in year, 8? Going into year 8, somewhere around there, 6 or 8, well, somewhere close to there. And he's still having to prove that he's the guy.
Yeah.
Like when you've been paid and you've been pretty much crowned as the guy, you can't continue to not prove it. You have to know when you're going on the field, I know my quarterback is going to deliver. Well, the problem with the Dallas Cowboys is that you don't know that.
The way I compare it to this, many, many years ago, I thought I had a shot with Carmen Electra. And I thought I had a shot. She asked me out for drinks, and I didn't show up for drinks. And it's a long story. I don't want to really get into it, but, at that point in my life, I wasn't interested in meeting Carmen Electra for drinks. But in my mind, I was like, if I wanted to have drinks with Carmen Electra, I could have drinks with Carmen Electra. And every year for the last 15 years, since she invited me to have drinks with her, I've said the same damn thing, and I've never once had a drink with Carmen Electra. I'm like Jerry Jones. Every year I think Dak Prescott is the guy, and every year he never shows up. very similar.
No, Jerry went for the drink, number one. You didn't go for the drink. That's on you.
I did not go for the drink. I did not. There were reasons for it. Get it to maybe off air, possibly.
Possibly.
But yeah, and that's a true story. You could go look it up. It's factual. It happened. Would you like to meet me for a drink? You're damn right I would. And then I no-showed, and I've regretted it ever since. Anyhow, the Dallas Cowboys owner thinks they're going to make the run. Cowboy fans think they're going to make the run. But you got to beat the Eagles. You got to beat the Giants. I'll give you 2 wins against the Commandos. And I do think we are at a crossroads for Dak Prescott career-wise. He's got the money, so it ain't about the money anymore. He made over $100 million. Well-deserved, good for him. Now it's about, that dirty word we throw about a lot in sports, which is legacy.
I thought you were going to say his 30th season.
No. No, I don't get out of that.
Age 30
His age 30 season, which no one ever says. Now it's about, are you just another guy that made a lot of money that never led his team deep in the playoffs multiple times and gave them a chance to win a title? And I assume everyone does care at some level about legacy. And I think his legacy is at a crossroads when it comes to being the Dallas Cowboy quarterback. Much more on that throughout the show, and more on Jerry Jones's crazy take on the Cowboys winning a title. Real quick, for all you Dolphin fans out there that are giving me a hard time when I tell you that Tua ain't that good a quarterback, how about this? First pass of a preseason game.
This is bad. This is very, very bad.
Woo! Mike McDaniel said, I think Tua can lead us to and then he just stopped and said, obviously he can't. Look at that garbage.
Okay, so there's a couple things on it. Number one, it is preseason.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah, that's a veteran quarterback. Yeah, he threw it into 3 Texan
I'm going to explain why this is so bad.
Yeah.
Because all week, you have a first 15. You go over the first few plays. That first play you've run probably 30 times all week. And you run against almost every possible defense. The Houston Texans had the perfect defense against this look. There is no receiver open. There is no option.
By the way, the tight end he's thrown it to is still running down the field.
Throw it away.
Yeah.
Throw it.
I got another one for you. This is bothersome. Show the play again while we're talking about it. Fine. If you're a Dolphin fan, Tua's an idiot because after throwing the interception, he puts his head down to try to make a tackle. Come on, man. One knee to the side of his temple right there, which is possible right there. It could have happened.
Yeah.
Thank God it didn't.
Yeah.
And Tua's not your quarterback.
I didn't even pay
anymore.
attention to that.
You have to have some awareness of who you are and where you are. Forget even about that's a terrible decision. It's a bad throw. That's a rookie quarterback right there. That's stupid.
Yeah,
right there. That's
he's coming to the sideline. Obviously, they're talking to him about the decision of throwing the interception. But more importantly, Tua, you can't put yourself in that situation.
Right.
If we're going to have any amount of success at the quarterback position with these weapons that we have, we need you healthy. And if you throw an interception, especially in a game that means absolutely nothing, just get out of the way.
Right. He only threw 6 passes total, right? The idea is just kind of get the cobwebs off, go out there first team offense, run a couple plays, and get your asses off the field so you're healthy for the second weekend in September when the season starts. And again, it is a terrible interception. But what's compounded is the fact that he puts his head down in an attempt to make a tackle. Yeah. That's a dude who just ain't thinking.
Yeah, and it's not even that he's not thinking. It's just naturally you're playing a sport that you're competitive at. And so you make a mistake, you try to eliminate that mistake from getting even worse by scoring a touchdown, by trying to tackle the guy. And at the quarterback position, you're not thinking, oh, wait a minute, I've had several concussions. Let me not put myself in harm's way. You're not thinking that way.
Which is also why all that nonsense about Tua's taking jiu-jitsu to learn how to fall. Is that how they teach you how to fall in jiu-jitsu? I think not, sir. And I'm a second-degree black belt in it. I think I know a little something about how to fall in jiu-jitsu. It's about the roll. It's about the shoulder roll. He just put his head down and said, kick me. That's not how you fall.
You're a second-degree black belt.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Huh? That's right.
Stop it.
Why do you question that?
Give me one.
Look at the flexibility. Stop. That's right. Hold on a second. Hold on. Oh. I'll tell you a true story, though. I went to Mr. Kim's Karate in Philadelphia back in the mid-'90s.
Oh, my goodness.
And there was an old lady there who couldn't kick her above her knee, taking her black belt exam. And I said to the guy, Mr. Tony, who is the master there, I go, she can't be a black belt. He goes, look, you give us $1,200, you'll be a black belt. So true story. That's how it goes over
I
there.
believe that.
Let me give you one more story before we take a break. Green Bay, which is still in Wisconsin, they tell me. Jordan Love being ready for week 1. 5 of 8, 84 yards and a touchdown pass against the New England Patriots. And here's what Jordan had to say about being ready for his first official start.
I think I'm definitely ready for week 1 and carrying on throughout the season. I think these first 2 games were a lot of good work, obviously getting the practice in with Cincy and with the Patriots as well.
Yeah, there's one thing I want to call your attention to, Greg, because you've lived it, and that is they have a rookie wide receiver named Jaden Reed. Mm-hmm. And not that I follow every pass completion or incompletion in the preseason, because I don't, but this is another second-round pick that the Green Bay Packers have found, and one preseason touchdown doesn't mean anything, but when you consider the success that this organization has had, yourself included, going back almost 20 years, I mean, that's a who's who of talented wide receivers, and maybe they found another one.
Yeah, look, this kid, he can flat out play for Michigan State. Like, they like him a lot. Obviously, he's going to develop with Jordan Love. But what I've loved about the Green Bay Packers is they've stayed on brand, and it has become something that the fans have been annoyed with. But then they've also been rewarded with the type of guys that they end up getting out of these second-round picks. Even though you don't go in the first round and grab a guy, there are a lot of talented guys that can be all throughout the draft, and they have found them year after year consecutively in the second round. So, and Jalen, he's one of those guys.
Well, yourself included, you're talking about 3 Packer Hall of Famers on that list, maybe 4.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about legitimate guys, Super Bowl champions. And, it's funny how some teams or franchises or GMs just have a knack for a certain position, for whatever the reason might be. And as you look at it, Jordy Nelson, Randall Cobb, of course, is now with the Jets. Devontae Adams is now with the Raiders. And the breakout star late last year in Christian Watson. Those are legitimate game-breaking wide receivers.
They are. And, I mean, I would like to think that I'm honored to be on that list, but watching those guys come in, James Jones, a 3rd-round pick, not a 2nd round, but a 3rd-round pick, another guy that followed suit. Look, I know we're talking about receivers, but Jordan Love, he looks good.
He looked good. Yeah,
he looks good. And it's something that we showed in one of those highlights that lets me know he's all the way locked in.
Go ahead.
And it's that first play. He scrambles, he runs. Right here, he scrambles, he's running, he sees a defender, knows he's going to take a hit, he gets down.
It also looks like I'm sorry to interrupt you, that he's looking at the yard marker, making sure he's got a first down, that kind of thing.
Yeah, but it's for me, he understands this is preseason. I don't want to take a huge blow. I'm going to get this first down. I'm going to get down and then live to see another down.
Yeah.
That is how you play the game. He's putting the ball where it needs to be. That is a phenomenal throw.
Yeah,
that is a great
because it's in stride. And
in
that's
stride,
a tough throw in stride, right?
In traffic. I like what I've seen out of Jordan Love and just everything that he's saying. Like, he is confident.
Yeah.
He's talking like a guy who has everyone following his lead and echoing the same sentiments that the coaches obviously putting in them in every unit meeting that they're in. So I love what I'm saying.
I will say this. If you are down in Miami, if you know Tua Tagovailoa, you might want to tell him to watch that video of Jordan Love. Slide. Yes. All right, slide. Feet first, kid. Feet first. Don't put your head down and risk getting a knee to the temple. Just slide. It's preseason. It don't matter, right?
It don't matter.
Saying, like, if I'm a Dolphin fan, it's bad enough he throws that bad pick, but then to put his head down? Dude.
Yeah, preseason,
very,
regular
very
season, you got to get down to it. With your history, you just got to get down.
We got much more coming up, including everyone's favorite Monday segment, or that's what it says here, which is why I don't read from scripts all that often. But it's called Get Learned. All the things we learned over this past weekend in sports, and it's coming up right after this.
Harper hits one in the air, left back, it goes! Harper, the swing of his life!
MLB playoffs are near, and you know what that means, Alex?
Yep, Flippin' Bats will be staying up late and having all the fun.
From breaking down the most important stories in games, nobody's done what he's doing. Nobody, not even Babe Ruth.
To interviewing baseball's biggest stars.
I felt like I was pitching more stressed. I was trying to be so perfect.
No one covers America's pastime like us.
So as we sprint towards this year's World Series on Fox, please make sure to listen, follow, and subscribe to Flippin' Bats with Ben Verlander and me, Alex Curry.
Baseball is fun, and so are we. We're going to have fun, dang it! We'll talk to you soon.
Hi, we are back. It's the Carton Show. Oh, that's a spelling mistake, I think. That's Greg Jennings right there. He's got a torn UCL, and he's crying about it every break. In any event, what did we learn this weekend? Yeah, Gregor?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Let's see
number one, I learned Los Angeles isn't safe. Number two, I learned that preseason football just doesn't matter. Dak Prescott hasn't played it down. Jalen Hurts hasn't played it down. Justin Herbert, he got the money, hasn't played it down. Lamar Jackson, $250 million, hasn't played a down. And yet there are other quarterbacks out there that are playing good, bad, indifferent, doesn't matter. Nothing matters until September 10th, 11th, and 8th.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with any of these guys not playing. Look, you know what they bring to the table. Obviously, with the number one guy on the list, Dak Prescott, because of the interceptions that he threw last year.
Do you think they're afraid of him throwing a preseason interception? That's why they're not playing?
I honestly believe that it's something that he is mentally struggling with right now. And so if he were to get into the game and throw an interception, it carries over into the regular season. And I don't think you need that for your quarterback, for his psyche, and for your team. So I can understand that. I don't think that's the only reason. Obviously, he's had injury over the last few years. But the other guys, like Lamar Jackson, new offensive coordinator, new offense look, basically, guys around him. I don't have a problem with them not playing. I would love to see them play some snaps simply because it's like you do have new pieces and you have a guy like Aaron Rodgers who's joined in the AFC, and it's like, you got to see what you got.
Yeah, and he's going to play. At least that's the report next week. By the way, can we take the thing off the bottom of the screen? Yeah, thank you for that. I appreciate that. Everyone knows that's Greg Jennings. We don't have to leave it up on the screen for the entire segment. He's only been on the show every other week for a year. Sorry, Greg. Maybe that's in your contract. I don't know. Number two, what I learned this weekend is that spending money is not the key to winning in Major League Baseball. The New York Mets and the New York Yankees have a combined payroll of over $600 million. They are combined 13 games under 500, and neither one of them are making the postseason.
It's not the key to winning games, but if you're any of those players that are getting paid that money, they are winning because
at the bank they're winning. Yes.
Absolutely.
But this is just obnoxious right here.
This is sad.
Like the New York Mets have the highest payroll in the history of baseball. You know, they're under 500. You got the New York Yankees with damn near the highest payroll in baseball, not with the Mets, of course. They're 4 games under 500. And then you have all these like medium market teams that barely spend a nickel on talent, and they're all going to the postseason. It's embarrassing.
This is great for baseball, though.
No, it's not.
It is great for baseball when you are not one of those.
That they're wrong.
When you're not one of those teams that can just outright pay any and every player and get them to come to your franchise because you have the money and you have endless money. It is good for baseball.
Let me just say this, and I'm glad you brought that up. You're wrong. It might be good for a team not known as the Dodgers or the Yankees to win World Series. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that's
that
what I'm
way,
saying.
Every little city in America can dream the impossible dream, right? But when the Mets are out, when the Yankees are out, and other big market teams, Chicago Cubs, Chicago White Sox, and on and on and on, when they stink, bad for baseball. Because no one cares about Tampa.
I can honor that. However, if I'm not on one of those teams, I don't care about those teams, and I want a chance to win. And
I'm saying from a fan standpoint. Yes, from a player standpoint, you just want a chance to win. But from Major League Baseball standpoint, we can all pay lip service to the fact, oh, isn't it great that a small market team has it? No, it's not great. It sucks, as a matter of fact. We need the pinstripes in the postseason. Yeah. Now, if you want Minnesota to beat them, which never happens, fine. But they got to get in. They got to get in. This has been the worst season of baseball in my lifetime. And I know it's been a great season of baseball for most other people, but not in New York. Ugh. Like, we gave up in June. Football could have started in July. 80,000 people would have been at MetLife Stadium. All right, the third thing I learned this past weekend is some people just flat out do not know how to fight. Fans getting into it. 49ers-Broncos game. See that guy in the circle? Throwing weak haymakers? Oh, he took a couple crosses right to the mouth. And no joke, stumbled out of the stadium, blood pouring out of his mouth. Gregor, what are we doing?
Yeah, I'm not condoning fighting at all with the statement that I'm about to make. But at some point, you're leaning back, you're falling back, you're in a defenseless position. You got to pull the guy down. You got to wrestle the guy. You can't just keep letting him
stop swinging.
Like, yes. Like, come on, man. I'm with you there. Don't keep swinging.
Plus, someone should have let that knucklehead know it's a preseason game. Right? Like, what do you think the argument was that led to that fight during a preseason game?
I don't know.
Brock Purdy sucks. You think it was something like that?
I never quite understand how you go to these games to be entertained by what's happening on the field, but you get more entertained by what happens in the
Well, listen, if I'm just sitting back, it'd be entertaining to watch a guy get his ass kicked because he probably deserved it. But I'm with you, like, why do we go to games? Do you ever go to a game going, good chance I get in a fight today?
Yeah, no. Like, what are we doing?
I'm with you on that. And he did stumble out, blood everywhere. Dude could not take a punch or throw a punch. Other thing we learned this weekend is that quarterbacks should not wear the number 50. It just don't look right. Teddy Bridgewater, starting linebacker for the Detroit. Wait a minute. He's not the starting linebacker. He was the starting quarterback.
I promise. The moment I saw Teddy take the field, I literally told my kids, I said, hey, kids, can you guess the quarterback playing right now?
Yeah.
And none of them could guess.
It looks weird, right?
They didn't. I mean, they were like, wait.
I know they changed the rules that you could wear any number you want, but quarterbacks should not be allowed to wear the number 50.
Yeah, Teddy,
it just doesn't look right.
It doesn't look right. Teddy, man, you my guy, man. Teddy, 2 gloves, but
to be fair, he's also not going to play it all this year, so maybe his number doesn't matter. That's a good point.
He might.
I also learned that in Buffalo, you still got real problems at quarterback. Josh Allen, preseason game, running for his life, playing out of control. Watch this play right here. Still got the legs. Yeah, okay, fake pass. Go the other way. Go the other way. And then he just sits down. He's all right.
And this is why you saw that list that you put up of quarterbacks not playing.
Yes.
That's why, because you cannot shut this off. This is who Josh Allen is.
Yeah.
This is what makes him great, and this is what makes you cringe if you're on the sideline with a headset on.
If you're a Bills fan, you're like, sit down,
like,
dude, just
get
sit down.
down, throw the ball away. It means nothing right now, but you can't turn this off when you're in competitive mode, and this is what you protect your players from, your most valuable assets at the quarterback position, which is why you don't see some of those guys playing.
Yeah, I think at the very end of your show it again, once the dude on the Steelers, made a little contact with him, he looked around and he was like, I'm going to get lit up. I better lay down. Like, you'll see it towards the end of the play here. Watch as he comes back to his right. Dude's got him. He's like, yeah, I'm not good. Thank you for coming. Hey, coach, let's punt. I think that's what he said. But, yeah, some guys can't help themselves. And that's what I learned. That's why Buffalo's got a problem. The other thing I learned this weekend is that the NFL got a little too sensitive with my man Quan Alexander. He plays for the Steelers now. I want you to see this play here. Little dump off.
A little too sensitive?
Good tackle, right?
I mean, I don't know how much better form tackling you can have.
One more time, little dump off to the running back. Quan Alexander, boom, easy tackle, 4-yard loss. Celebrate it. The NFL fined him for that tackle $40,000.
Like, can we?
Now that's got to be appealed,
like,
right?
Yes, he's gonna appeal it, and hopefully he wins it. My hope is that he wins it, because if you show this again,
like,
go
ahead, show it
again. You're asking these defensive guys to keep their heads up, and I know it looks like he puts his head down, but naturally when you start to tackle, your face mask is to go into the chest plate,
which is where
of the defender. Period.
Boom.
That is exactly what he does. He doesn't put the spear of his helmet, the top, which is the crown of his helmet. He doesn't lead with the crown of his helmet.
Right.
That is completely different. And I think the league is, like you said, they're getting too sensitive when it comes to helmet-to-helmet contact. If there's helmet touching another helmet, they automatically side with the fact that throw the flag.
Sure.
And that's fine.
I don't even think I could. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not even sure if they threw a flag during the game on that hit. I think it was afterwards the NFL saw a replay and said, "Oh, that's an illegal hit."
That's where it has to stop, because I don't have a problem with you throwing the flag, and when it's happening that fast, throw the flag.
Yeah.
And whatever. But you can't fine a guy when it looks like that. Like, there was nothing vicious and malicious about that hit.
They both jumped right up. Nobody got hurt. It wasn't even reviewable. They're telling me they did throw a flag during the game. Thank you, Troy. I didn't see it. So there was a flag. So the NFL looks at it and goes, oh, that's finable. That's one of those plays where the union should get involved. Quan Alexander, who, by the way, ain't making that much money thus far in his career, is not writing a $40,000 check.
Yeah, no,
nor should he, by the way.
That will get appealed.
And I got one more for you before we take a break. Another thing I learned this weekend, and it's an unequivocal truth. And you're not going to like it, but I don't care. I don't care. A mustached Aaron Rodgers is the best Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. Now, he's got the goat going. He's got a little goat going, but full-on stash. That's the best Aaron Rodgers I know.
Any Aaron Rodgers for you is the best Aaron Rodgers.
Also true. Also true.
I know.
But that handsome guy right there.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that.
I mean, it's
and I'm
a
not a
good look
mustache guy usually.
It's a good look for him. Oh! Now, look, I know you're not going to like it. But Mustache Craig is the best version of Craig. That's just simply the best version of Craig.
That's the last time I take a picture. I can tell you that. There you go. Mustache Craig is not the best. Greg Jennings.
No, it is not.
I can tell you that right now.
It is
Facial
not.
hair ain't for everybody.
Oh, my
that's
God.
Nice.
Look
Yeah. I look like the guy they show you on Dateline. I never thought he'd be that kind of guy.
Yeah, man. You look like...
Dude, I look barrel chested there. I like it. I got to keep working
like,
out.
kids, stay in the house. There's a guy out here that
That's the guy that drives an unmarked vanilla van. Yeah.
Wow.
Remember, you guys remember, but back in the 1970s, in elementary school, they used to warn us about Chester. And Chester drove an unmarked vanilla van around schools. That's what he looked like. Yeah, not a good look. So can we never show that again?
So you were Chester?
No, I'm saying that guy looks like Chester.
That guy is you. What do you mean, that guy?
That guy ain't me. That ain't me. No, and someone's getting fired. Except half our staff didn't show up for work today anyway. Coming up, a little something we like to call Around the Diamond and First in Football. And that question gets answered, and the answer is no. We'll tell you who will win the NFC, though, after this on FS1.
Hey, college football fans, this is RJ Young, host of Fox Sports' #1 college football show. The biggest names, the biggest games. The theme is we do it big on this here thing. Please subscribe on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts.
It's the Carton Show. It's Greg Jennings. He's a Green Bay Packer Hall of Famer. Nobody else showed up today, which is fine. In any event, let's go around the diamond real quick. Remember a few months ago when 85-year-old Yankee radio play-by-play guy John Sterling was calling a foul ball, and the foul ball hit him right in the face? Remember that, Greg?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I remember that too. It was funny. We really got to show that with audio, though, guys.
Yes, we do.
Can we show that with audio or no? Probably not, of course. Anyway, yesterday, it damn near happened again. Watch this video from yesterday. There you go. This time, he ducks.
There we go. There we go.
And here's the best part. The same guy hit it. Justin Turner. The guy that hit the foul ball that hit him in the head, and the guy that hit that foul ball, same dude, Justin Turner. I love the engineer in the back. Look, he ducks too.
Yeah.
Like, put on a glove, man, and catch the damn ball. From there, we go to Toronto. Blue Jays first baseman Vladimir Guerrero Jr. This is the old sucker play. Man on first, infield fly, let her drop. Everybody panics because nobody knows the rules of baseball. And you get 2 outs to get out of the inning. The old possum play, we call that, back in the neighborhood.
I love smart play. I don't care what sport. You play smart, you got a chance to be on my team.
One more time, man on first. And the reason he let it drop
is just brilliant.
The guy that hit it wasn't running like most baseball players because they're lazy. So that's 2 outs right there. From there, let's go to Philadelphia. As you know, the Little League Classic is going on, so players were allowed to use Little League-inspired bats.
Sweet.
Oh, that's cool.
So that guy, whose name is Bryson Stott, is that right? Yeah, he had a pencil for a bat. In honor of Little League awareness, yeah. That's like a disease. It's not, Little League is not a disease. I take that back.
Yeah, please.
It's not. It's
Little League awareness.
Not, it's not. Stand up to Little League. No. One time in Little League. No, so just I'm sitting here and I'm uncomfortable.
Exactly. I told you.
Could you just show it again, please, so people can see it? By the way, that shouldn't be allowed. It's so distracting, right?
That is sweet.
Yeah, it is totally
distracting,
sweet, right?
Because it looks like a real pencil.
But the question is, did he get a hit or not? Does anybody know what Bryson Stott did with the pencil-inspired bat? And yes, it is a number 2 pencil, so he can take his SATs with it after the game if he wants to. If he wants to.
I like it.
He was 1 for 4 in that game. So
man,
that's a little
give
around
it to
the
somebody
dial
else.
for you, huh?
1 for 4, give it to somebody else. Let somebody
What's weird is that if Major League Baseball players were allowed to use Little League-inspired bats, how come that's the only one we saw from the weekend, right?
Yeah.
Well, we'll investigate that another day.
Please.
All right, time for a little something we like to call Handsome Craig, living right there in the corner of First and Football. Let me start you off in Buffalo, where offensive lineman Deion Dawkins talked about how bad the Bills were against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Here's Deion. Go ahead.
Overall, I don't think that there's an excuse. I don't want to put the word it's preseason in the air. You know, like we have a standard, and at times it wasn't up to our standard, and that's a good thing with having something like the preseason, but I don't want to say, oh, it's preseason, who cares?
Yeah, by the way, 4 turnovers and 13 penalties, and the 15 points they scored, Gregor, all in the fourth quarter. Look, it is the preseason, but there does come a point where the stink of preseason, for some teams, not all teams, can kind of roll over into week 1. Now, famously, the Bills, during their heyday with Jim Kelly and Thurman Thomas, never won a preseason game, and obviously it didn't matter. And this is a very good football team, but it was just ugly.
It was ugly, and this is the problem with preseason, because a lot of times, I credit the Kansas City Chiefs for what they're doing and playing their guys, but it's because Patrick Mahomes has such a lock that he's leading this team with. He has a handle on the beat of the team and the guys taking the field. When you look at the Buffalo Bills, a lot of these guys just aren't out there knowing that I'm playing a football game. They're more of the mindset of, you know what, I'm going to get these snaps in and then I'm done. I'm going to eat some hot dogs at halftime and my day is over with. That's just the way it is. And it's hard to lock in. I'm not sitting here acting as though I was able to lock in for 2 series or 1 series every time I stepped on a preseason football field, because it's a challenge. But when you have your quarterback going out there, and Josh Allen was out there, if he goes out there, you have to be able to lock it in, because you understand that these are our most prideful players and most valuable players.
Yeah, it's just weird. Like, you don't want to overreact to it, but sometimes it just looks so bad.
It does.
How do you not react to it? Which is, I think, why, not to go too far off on the topic for First and Football, why the New York Jets are playing Aaron Rodgers. Like, the New York Jets scored 6 points against Tampa. They had the one good game against Carolina. They didn't look great in the Hall of Fame game. Mm-hmm. And you just want to have something that a coach can go, okay, we're good. Now put the backups in.
Yeah, and when you look at the Jets, you talk about the Jets, their struggle was the fact that they couldn't really score offensively. Well, you can't excite your fans or have your fans excited about what you're going to bring in week 1 against the Buffalo Bills if you're still struggling to score. I don't care who your quarterback is. It's like, yeah, we got Aaron Rodgers, but is it going to look similar to what we've been seeing all preseason long?
Right.
You got to give him
And we're not going to see a lot of Aaron Rodgers against the Giants. I'd be shocked if you see more than a series, maybe 2. And half those players are going to be handoffs anyway. Yeah. But you're going to have a sold-out building on Saturday. Much more on Jets-Giants later in the week and later in the show. Let me go to a second in football. Everyone's favorite little guy, Deuce Vaughn, has earned the backup running back spot for the Dallas Cowboys. I'll tell you something right now. Draft him on your fantasy
You better.
teams. Draft him late, but draft this kid because my man can play football. I don't care how little the guy is.
I wouldn't even draft him late. I'm going to be honest. Like, the guys like this are problems for defenses in the National Football League because he's so short, you cannot see him until he hits the hole. Until he gets it, you don't see him as a defender because you have a body on a body. Yeah. He shows up and he's at the advantage to make you miss. This is going to be a problem for a lot of teams playing the Dallas Cowboys.
Hey, Tim Hardaway. Tim, you're not alone. Deuce Vaughn's going to make it to the big
got
stew,
you, buddy.
We got you covered. See you soon. And yeah, Tim's under the desk there. No, it's great. And it's a feel-good story. By the way, the kid was a dominant running back.
Yes.
Where is he? Kansas State, wherever he was?
Kansas State.
So it's not like they just found him at a bus depot. You know what I mean? The guy's a football player.
Yeah, he can play, man. He's put together, and there's been a lot of, unlike quarterbacks at that position who are undersized, there's been a lot of running backs that are undersized, not his size, but that have skill sets that they thrive with and when they get opportunity.
You know what else I like about it? You know how many dudes you've met, or I've met, I'm sure you have in your lifetime at the gym or like a pickup game, or like, yo, man, if I was only 3 inches taller, I would have gone pro. Yeah. Dude's 4'6". 4'6". He's an Oompa. And he's going to be in the NFL. And I love it. That's my new favorite player, not on the Jets, is that kid right there, Deuce Vaughn. I don't play fantasy football, but if I did, I'm drafted Deuce Vaughn.
Is he your new favorite player just because of his size?
Yes. Yeah, I'm very honest about it.
I like that.
I like little people. I have a soft spot in my heart for little people. It's hard to overcome being little. And that dude's going to be in the NFL. NFL, which means every guy that you meet at the gym who's like, if I was only 3 inches taller, I would have gotten my shot. Dude's 4 foot tall, and he's in the NFL.
4'6" to 4 foot tall.
Done it. I'm going to measure.
I hear you.
He might be 310. I don't know what it is. All right, let me go to third.
You don't know.
Hey, look at
Jimmy
that guy.
Garoppolo.
Look at that guy. That's Jimmy G playing preseason football. Doing what Jimmy G does. Leading his team to a touchdown. That man's a winner. I don't care what anybody says.
He is.
A little low there, too. A little low. And by the way, a dude's wide open here. That's a touchdown if he actually hits him in stride. But it's a completion. It's a first down. It's Jimmy G.
It is Jimmy G, and I know Jimmy G wins all the time.
That's all he does.
I'm not high on Jimmy G. I would love to see. I'm interested to see how he looks standing in the pocket because every time I've seen Jimmy G, he seems a little happy feet in the pocket, like he's not settled and comfortable. It'll be interesting to see what this Raiders team looks like.
By the way, those numbers are, there's only like 3 guys in the history of football that have that winning percentage and that average points per game and the touchdown to interception ratio in the history of football. And yet nobody, me included, thinks of Jimmy Garoppolo as a top 5 quarterback.
Correct.
But all the guy does, to be fair, is win. You got to give him that.
Top 5 quarterback. Nobody thinks of him as a top 10 quarterback.
Well, how could it be top 10? You have Daniel Jones in the top 10. Let me go to fourth. Let me go to fourth in football real quick. A.J. Brown talking about the Philadelphia Eagles. Let's hear what he had to say.
I can't tell you what's going to happen, but I know one thing, that we're preparing to be better than we were last year, preparing each and every day. I can't tell you what's going to happen. Nobody knows what's going to happen, but we're definitely moving in the right direction as an offense.
I disagree with what A.J. Brown said there. I can tell you what's going to happen. you're not going to win 14 regular season games this year. You're going to be a very, very good team, and they should win the NFC East just based on the talent they have on both sides of the ball. But the schedule's harder this year. I don't buy the notion of, you sneak up on teams. It's the NFL. There is no such thing. But you play the AFC East this year, which is a better division, a deeper division than it has been in a long time because the Jets are for real now. And you're just not winning 14 games.
Yeah, look, it's not even about the regular season for this team. Obviously, they're going to be a good team. They're going to make the playoffs, barring injuries at the positions that mean the most. This team is locked and loaded on getting back to the Super Bowl.
Which they're not going to do.
And changing the result. And they have a really good shot to do that. I'm excited to see what this team looks like. I'm excited to see what that young man looks like in his second year under this coaching regime, the offensive coordinator with these receivers, and see what it looks like. They've retooled better than any team in football. They lost a lot, and it seems like they got even better with some of the guys that they got. So I'm excited to see what the Philadelphia Eagles. I know you don't like the Philadelphia Eagles just because
I think
they're the Philadelphia Eagles.
I want to be clear. I don't like the Philadelphia Eagles, but it's them and the Niners as the two best team in the conference. I'm not going to be silly and say that they can't possibly make a run. 14-3 is very, very hard to do. By the way, in the second half of this season, they have the Chiefs, they have the Bills, they have the Niners,
tough.
And you have Dallas twice. And you have the Giants twice. The back end of their schedule's tough.
It's tough. They have 2 byes. That's the Cardinals and the bye week.
Yeah, they do have 2 byes. You're right. But that is if you just look 3, 6, 8, the final 8 games, Kansas City, Buffalo, San Francisco,
that's a tough.
Dallas, Seattle. I mean, they've 1 win there that you can guarantee and lock in. That's it. 1 against the Cardinals. They will win in week 17. I know they blew the Giants out last year, all 3 times they played them, but that's a tough schedule. They're not going 14-3. Coming up, your mid-show headlines and all the latest breaking news and stories from the NFL and beyond right after this on FS1. All right, welcome back to the Carton Show. Time for your mid-show headlines. No. All right, let's start off with headline. I'm sorry. Number 1, Aaron Rodgers. The report is out there. Number 8, the greatest number 8 of all time, is going to play a couple snaps. Now, Aaron Rodgers, Greg Jennings, Green Bay Packer, Hall of Famer, by the way, has not played a preseason game since 2018. But he saw the Jets offense, let's be honest, it stinks. And he's like, I got to wipe the stank off this thing. I'm going to take a couple snaps, and I love it.
Did he see the Jets offense, or has he been watching the Giants offense in that number 8 that's under center over there? And he's probably saying, I can't let the fans of New York City think that he is the best quarterback in the city.
He's not, so no one's there.
I'm just saying. Some may be saying that. No, I think this is awesome when you look at the New York Jets and what they have not been able to do offensively, and Aaron Rodgers hasn't played. Yeah. Obviously, he wants to establish some continuity with the guys up front, his offensive line, and the receivers. This is a new situation for him. You don't want to go into week 1 having not taken any snaps. I like the approach if he is to start, and I believe this is a decision that he's making, not so much the coaching staff.
Yeah, look, I want to see him because I want to see him. So just selfishly, as a Jet fan, it's enough sideline crap. Get your ass on the field, and that's selfish. I want to see you play, but to be fair, we're concerned about the offensive line. We're concerned about, are we just going to show up because it's Aaron Rodgers and ping, 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 touchdown Jets. So I know it doesn't mean anything, but I think from a standpoint of nobody other than Lazard and Randall Cobb, guys that came over from Green Bay, have ever been on a field with him when the action is real and live. And I think it benefits everybody to have a couple snaps.
Yeah, it's going to benefit everyone, including the coaching staff, because obviously you have Nathaniel Hackett, who has a rapport with Aaron Rodgers, but the way he manages the game, how he gets guys back up on the line, and even the way the ref and the umpires respond to him. We saw even with the Hard Knocks and in their last game where Zach Wilson gets the false start and they kind of blow it down.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers under center, they let that go. That's just because that's what they've been accustomed to seeing him do. And so the game is played a little differently, and you want to establish that going into week 1.
I think there's also, it applies to life, right? Like, I can only teach you so much by talking to you. You ultimately have to go out there and do it for me to have a better understanding and a better opportunity to be successful at it. Like, you can't become great if you're doing it in a vacuum of a film room or me standing next to you saying, oh, you should have looked to your left on that play, that kind of stuff. I think you just got to do it. And I love the fact that they're waiting for Jets-Giants. 80,000 people, MetLife Stadium, right? Number 8 against number 8. Giants offense against the great Jet defense. Like, there's storylines to this matchup that make a lot of people think this is going to be the matchup the second Sunday in February for the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
that's on the table. Oh, this might be a little precursor to Super Bowl Sunday. Yeah.
Slow down. Slow down.
You love Daniel Jones.
I do love Daniel Jones.
Top 10 quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely.
You love Brian Dable.
I do.
You love the Jets defense.
I do.
You respect Aaron Rodgers.
I love Aaron Rodgers.
Collision course.
You don't have to not say I don't love. No.
Blow your mind.
No, I'm not.
Jet. Now, the only concern is this, and let me be the first in America to say it. What if they're both in the AFC and NFC conference championship games at home? How do you figure that one out? Right? They share a stadium. And I've already got the answer for you. If the Jets and the Giants go to where we expect them to go, which are the NFL collective, we all assume that's going to happen this year, right? They would play Sunday and Monday. That's what the NFL has announced. They would not play, yes, if the Jets and the Giants are both hosting the conference championship games. One game will be on Sunday, one game will be on Monday. I'm just putting it out there. Just consider it. Putting it out there.
It's a good thing we don't have to worry about it.
No, you have to worry about it. Unless, of course, you think Brock Purdy and San Francisco is going to have something to say about it. Brock Purdy got some preseason action, and I got to tell you what, dude looked good. 4 out of 5, 65 yards, and that offense, boop, 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 clicking just the way it was last year.
Yeah, you like to see him get out on the field and just throw the ball around. Obviously, with leaving the game in the NFC Championship game last year, not being able to grip the ball and throw the ball, you just want to see him be comfortable out there moving around and doing what you saw him do last at a high level. The 49ers are excited about, obviously, him being their starting number one quarterback. The receivers, the entire team within that locker room love what he brings to the table. I'm excited to see can he sustain what he started last year.
Yeah, and the thing for me, when you watch, I know we're only showing 3 or 4 completions. I mean, he only had 4, right? So you're seeing all of them right there. That last pass, to me, is a key one from the elbow standpoint. Little zip, little touch, and if there was any concern about his ability to throw the football, that's a good one. That's, in rhythm and the slant. But this last play coming up here, that's an NFL quarterback, right?
Yeah, the fact that he is playing in a preseason game lets me know that he's ready to go.
By the way, you saw Deebo Samuel out there with him?
Yeah, you're not going to put him in a preseason game if he's not ready to go. If you're Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch, you're just not going to do it. You're going to wait till week 1. But the fact that he is ready to go, you put him out there with your guys and see what it looks like, give him a spin, and then gear up for week 1.
Tomorrow on the show, we're doing a segment called What's a Bigger Story, but I'll give you a little insight to it right now. What's a bigger story, Greg Jennings? The fact that Brock Purdy is solidified as number 1, or the fact that Trey Lance is going to be the emergency quarterback, number 3 on San Francisco? A little hint to tomorrow's show.
I like that.
I think
it's a Trey Lance. Just watching him in a couple of these preseason games, he has not looked great. He's had some moments, but he's had more moments where you're shaking your head like, I get it. And I was one that was, kind of in up in arms about him not getting the opportunity to compete for this starting job. Well, once you see what he's doing out there, it's like, I see why.
He's not an NFL quarterback right now.
I'm not going to say he's not an NFL quarterback because he has the talent. It's just the game is not there mentally for him yet, decision-making and things like that. So it's,
Imagine going from a first-round draft pick to you're the third quarterback on a team behind Sam Darnold and the last guy drafted. That's embarrassing. I don't think they let you in the strip clubs when that's your resume, do they?
Sam Darnold was a first-round draft pick.
Sam Darnold. It'll be like in the old age home. Hey, Trey, by the way, when you played NFL football, who'd you lose your job to? Sam Darnold. Oh, and Mr. Irrelevant.
No, he lost his job to injury.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he
lost
did.
his job to a lack of talent.
Oh, my God. This guy is terrible.
Sucks. All right, great.
Exactly.
I knew it. I even have a step stool here.
But get off the step stool.
This is how all the stars do it, so you can look down on everybody. Yeah, little Greg Jennings over here to my left. Headline number 3, the aforementioned Green Bay Packer Hall of Famer says that Daniel Jones is a rock star. Well, guess what? He got a little preseason action against the Carolina Panthers, and I got to tell you something. Dude looked good. Darren Waller looked good. 3 catches on that drive. He completed 8 out of 9 passes, 69 yards, and a touchdown. And that Giants offense, without Saquon Barkley, looked awesome.
What they look, Craig?
Awesome.
What they look?
Awesome.
Yeah, buddy, they look awesome because they got that number 8 under center. I've been trying to tell the world, I've been trying to tell you guys, and just in case you are late to the party, yes, I've had Daniel Jones as a top 10 quarterback dating back to last year.
Yes, you did.
Last season. And you know what I've done for you and only you and our viewing audience?
What's that?
I've updated my top 10 list.
Oh!
Because Daniel Jones has been playing lights out. So I got to respect him.
Hold on.
Look at this.
Hold on. I'm just. Daniel Jones had 1 drive.
Look.
1.
And he looked phenomenal.
Yes.
He looked exactly like what I thought he was. Daniel Jones is who I thought he was.
So he
This is why the list is updated. And I'm going to tell you right now, for all you Jacksonville Jaguar fans, this is not a knock on Trevor Lawrence. The reason why the arrow is down is because of the performance of Daniel Jones.
Only because Jones had to go up.
Absolutely. That's only because Jones had to go up. This is no knock. Trevor Lawrence is still playing great. He's just not playing like Daniel Jones right now. And so Daniel Jones moves up. And, I don't know how far he's going to move. This year, he might creep into the top 5 by the end of the year. He may eventually end up in top 5 quarterback ratings, elite status.
Here's what you and I both know: he ain't gonna get to 5, but you're gonna have him at 6.
You look. You just had him in the You just had him hosting the NFC Championship game.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Against the San Francisco 49ers. Look, Daniel Jones had 1 drive in the preseason against a team that the week before the Jets scored 27 points against. So let's not get crazy. Zach Wilson led touchdown drives in the preseason against Carolina. That being said, you saw what the Giants offense is capable of, and that's without Saquon. Spread offense a little bit more than last year, rolling him out of the pocket, not to run, but to look for a tight end or a wide receiver coming across the field. Last year, every time, obviously, that's a little hyperbole, not every time, but virtually every time, they rolled him out of the pocket, it was to run because he's such a talented athlete as a runner. Now you've got him rolling out of the pocket to the right, hitting a wide receiver, to the left, hitting a backup tight end for a touchdown. That's a dangerous offense because of his mobility and the fact they've gotten him weapons, namely Darren Waller, who had 3 catches on that 1 drive.
Yeah, Darren Waller looks like he's back healthy and ready to roll. I'm excited for him. But this is what you want your offense to look like. When you pay a quarterback like Daniel Jones and you're telling the world this is our franchise guy, and you say you're not paying Saquon Barkley, this is what he better look like. And I'm excited for him because he has those weapons that you mentioned. Paris Campbell coming over, Isaiah Hodgins in another year. Like, all these guys, obviously Darren Waller is going to be high emphasis and a target guy for his quarterback. But Brian Dable, with 2 years with this young man, is going to be the difference maker.
Look, I'm telling you, Brian Dable is the difference maker. He was the difference, I think, for Josh Allen's development in Buffalo, and he has clearly been nothing but positive for the development of Daniel Jones. Coming up after a very quick break, Patrick Mahomes amazingly played in a preseason game and also threw the ball 15 times.
Let's go.
Kansas City doesn't care. We'll get into it right after this. How can you possibly defend Kansas City's decision to have Patrick Mahomes drop back 15 times in a meaningless preseason game, Craig Jennings, or do you love it?
I absolutely love it.
You do?
I love it. They're setting the tone moving into week one, primarily because you look at the guys around Patrick Mahomes. A lot of those guys are inexperienced, haven't played with Patrick Mahomes. Justin Ross, you obviously have Richard James coming over. You have Rashee Rice.
Yeah.
All these young guys that are going to play critical minutes and prove to be vital pieces of whether or not this team can repeat and be a repeat Super Bowl champion. Patrick Mahomes will lock these guys in. You establish that rapport right away. We know the relationship with Travis Kelce. It's about getting and establishing the relationship and the chemistry with those other guys.
Like, if there's one quarterback that should never play in the preseason, it's that guy. Right? He's got nothing to prove, obviously. But it does go back to the point I've been making a lot, which is Kansas City, I think, plays with fire. Similarly to how New England did with Tom Brady. And that is, we got 15 back there. It don't matter who we put on the field. He's going to make everybody better.
Yeah, but there's a tremendous amount of trust even with that, in regards to Patrick Mahomes, because in order to play your quarterback back there, we can't see what we're seeing or what we showed earlier with guys like Josh Allen, where you're scrambling around and you're letting guys pull on you. You got to throw the ball away, or with Tua Tagovailoa. Patrick Mahomes is going to be decisive. He's not going to take those hits. He's going to get rid of the ball. He understands what the task is. It's not necessarily about winning the game. It's about establishing relationships and getting full-time reps with these young receivers and this offensive line.
By the way, that rookie wide receiver, Rashee Rice, who you talked about, had 8 catches for 96 yards. So I know they're pumped about that. And by the way, Patrick Mahomes is still Patrick Mahomes.
Yes, he is.
Watch this attempted pass that Patrick tried in a preseason game. It's incomplete, but just stop it right there if you can. That is like, it's the Derek Jeter play. But what's crazy about it is that if you can you pause it right there? Can we stop it? Freeze it. You got 5 Cardinals. That's your franchise right there. And you got 5. Like, is nobody blocking for Kansas City? And he still jumps in the air and tries to make a play.
Oh, in defense,
that's crazy.
In defense of their offensive line, once your quarterback scrambles, you can't go chasing guys and doing things like that. However, this throw is ridiculous. I know it's an incomplete pass, but he puts it in the only position
where it can't get picked,
where it can't get intercepted.
Yeah.
Like, that's why he's special.
That's why he is special. Is it really that hard to run to your right and throw the ball that hard left in midair?
I mean,
I would throw it to you, but you're gimpy today, and I don't want to hurt you. You know, I don't want to make you go, oh, my elbow. So I will not. My man never drops the ball. All right. So from Patrick Mahomes to we're not going to Aaron Rodgers here.
Why would we go to Aaron Rodgers?
Oh, we were going to go to Aaron Rodgers, but we don't have the sound that we want you to hear, so we're going to skip that. I'm going to go right to Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones, once again, for the 30th consecutive year. Thanks. This is crazy. The Dallas Cowboys are in a better position now to win it all. Put the thing up there, will you? There's the quote. I think this year we're in better position to win it than we have been in years. Before I get to why this is so comical, do you agree?
I do agree. I know it's comical because, he's said this previous years and it's repeated. However, their personnel has been one of the top personnel in all of football for the last few years. However, they just have not gotten it done, whether it be coaching in the postseason or their top players delivering when it matters most in the postseason.
Yeah, I'm not even sure if it's been coaching, to be honest. I know we can blame Jason Garrett for the Garrett years. You want to blame Mike McCarthy for the last 4 years as well. They just don't have the right guy playing quarterback. You know, if you put Tom Brady on the Dallas Cowboys in the last 30 years, guess what? Multiple Super Bowl championships, right?
I give you that.
They just haven't had the quarterback, whether it was Romo or now Dak Prescott. But the thing about Jerry, and you have to love it, right, is that it's the same thing every single year. So let's go back 1 year, 2022. What did Jerry Jones say? Put it up on the screen if you guys have it. He says it right there. We're in better shape now to make a run. Well, that's not the first time he said that. Let's go to 2021, right? Let's go to 2020 and 19 and 18 and 17. Matter of fact, that's 21. We got the top guys at football. We're going to win a championship just like we did when I first bought the Cowboys. Like, there's no line in rehab. And in rehab, they say, what is the definition of insanity? It's a cliche now, right? And the answer is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome.
Are you saying Dak is...
What I'm saying is, what Jerry Jones should say is, we have no chance to win the Super Bowl. And maybe they will.
Look, I think you make a really interesting point that everybody kind of knows this is why the Dallas Cowboys haven't got over the hump. It's the quarterback position.
Yes.
Like, you paid Dak Prescott to be an elite quarterback. You paid him like an elite quarterback. And has he shown flashes in the pan? Of course. But when it matters most, he hasn't been consistent enough to where you can say, go win us the game. That hasn't been the case with the Dallas Cowboys under center. That has to change.
I will say this. He has had a couple ridiculous regular seasons.
Yeah.
Statistically, win-loss, the whole thing. But then you got to do it again in the postseason. And even though they beat Tampa last year, he really hasn't had that postseason moment where Cowboy fans can say, whew, he finally figured it out.
His postseason moment was his rookie year against the Green Bay Packers in that loss. Like, he played phenomenal.
Yeah.
But for me, when you look at the Dallas Cowboys right now, their strength is the defense. So you don't need Dak Prescott to try to shoulder everything. What you need him to do is be a mature, veteran quarterback that does not turn the ball over, that moves the ball down the field, that allows your defense to rest, that scores points when you need, and put their offense in position to get points, period. Just don't turn the ball over in critical moments.
Yeah, I still think they do have the talent. Jerry Jones is wrong about that. The question is Dak Prescott finally at a point in his career when he's going to lead a team deep into the playoffs? And based on what we've seen thus far, albeit in practice, not even in a game, the answer is no. Now, he has a chance to disprove that in a couple weeks, but right now, the answer is no, sir. I'm being told right now in my ear that we do have sound from Aaron Rodgers. Pre-game interview this weekend with Otis Livingston. And he said a couple things. One I like, one I don't like. Play it.
I think we're going to be competitive here for a long time. I'd like to be able to play a few good years here and then hand it right back off to Zach and let him go for the next 15. And it'd be a really special, 18 to 20 year run of great quarterback play.
I mean, you're sweet talking to my ears is what he's doing. That's all that was. That was Carmen Electra saying, want to have a drink, Craigie? That's all that was. 18 to 20 years of top-notch quarterback play. I've never had two, let alone 18. And one of those great years was in 1968. Let's not forget about that. Here's what I like. He's committed to being here for a few years. I like that. Now, that, of course, can change if the Jets go 6-11 and suck and the coaching staff's incompetent and all that stuff that could happen. But I like the fact that he's committed. What I don't like is that he has joined this chorus of Jet voices that think that Zach Wilson is a good quarterback. He's not. I mean, I saw him against Tampa. Not good. Saw him against Cleveland. Not good. He's not an NFL star. He never will be.
So I'm not going to say he never will be, but I'm going to jump back into the Aaron Rodgers bit on what he sees in this Jet team right now. It's a lot of excitement. It's a lot. It's new. He's done everything right. He's embraced the media. He's embraced the fans. He's embraced the being here in the offseason. Everything. They haven't played a real game.
No, he hasn't even taken a snap in a preseason game.
And everything just feels so good right now. Even Hard Knocks, he's embraced that.
Yeah.
And so with all this good, naturally you're on this high and you're going to say things like, yeah, man, I want to be here for the next few years. And he means all of that right now in this moment. Let this team get off to a bad start and starts to struggle, and they don't end up where we all kind of believe that they have the potential to get to.
Yep.
All of that starts to change.
Well, it's funny. Earlier in the show, we showed you the second half of the Eagles season, schedule-wise, and how tough it is. You made this point a month ago on our show, and that is the first month and a half for the Jets is extraordinarily tough. You've got the Bills out of the gate. You've got the Giants. You've got the Cowboys. You've got the Kansas City Chiefs. Like the first 6 weeks, I don't care how good you are, plus the Eagles are in that mix, are very tough. I would tell you right now, if the New York Jets come out of the first 6 3-3 or better.
Oh, that's a win.
Oh, it's a huge win.
That's a win.
If they're 3-3 or better, the New York Jets are winning the division. Because those first 6 games are a killer schedule, starting off with the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, if they can get off to a fast start, and a fast start being what you talked about, if they come out 2-4 out of that, that's good enough.
No, 2-4 is not good. That's a loser mentality, Greg Jennings.
Look, this is me being realistic. Like, they could very well come out of this 1-5, 2-4.
No, they can't. It's not even on the table. Let's at least.
It is definitely on the table.
They're not losing to the Denver Broncos. They stink, and they're not losing to New England because they stink. That's 2 guaranteed W's right there. I just got to find one more. And I'm 3-3 after 6, and then I'm locked and loaded, ready to go.
You got to find that one more, and let's see. That first one is in Buffalo.
That's right.
Well, no,
that's
I'm
home.
sorry,
Yeah,
that's home.
MetLife.
That Kansas City Chiefs, it's home again. But you're playing the Chiefs.
That's right.
Will you be wearing your jerseys?
I'm not. I don't think adults should wear jerseys.
No, I mean the team. Are they wearing their throwbacks in that game? They're white.
Yes. The white on white. Yeah.
So they'll be excited to play that game.
Yeah.
But the Chiefs are the Chiefs. And then week 6, you're playing again. All those games that you really need out of all these first 6, they're playing them at home. And so you have an advantage because you are playing at home. However, there is pressure when you're playing at home.
There's tons of pressure. I got Aaron Rodgers. I'm expected to win.
Yes.
By the way, week 6, they play the Eagles. Historically, the New York Jets, and I'm not exaggerating this, have never beaten the Philadelphia Eagles in an NFL game. Never. It has never happened. It's ON, whatever the number is.
That's
never happened. Right. Now, I will tell you this, though. If you're going to beat Kansas City, you want them early in the season, not late in the season. Kansas City doesn't care about the first month of the season. That's when you attack. That's when you beat them. True story.
Is that the beat on?
Yeah. I'd rather play Kansas City in September than December.
The Chiefs, there's no good time to play the Chiefs. They don't lose.
If there is such a thing as a good time, early, not late. Early, not late. By the way, the Eagles and Jets have played each other 12 times in both franchises' histories. The Eagles are 12-0 against the New York Jets.
And you're saying it
that
changes?
Comes to an end this year, Philadelphia. We got plenty of time to talk smack, but that comes to an end. 12.
No Baker's dozen.
12-1. 12-1. And that one comes this year. And it's on Fox. So I'm pretty happy about that.
Oh, my gosh.
Maybe I'll even get sideline passes from Fox because they love me. Yeah.
I mean, they got a lot of overcoming to do.
The
Patriots?
Jets?
Yes.
Stop it.
They haven't beat the Patriots in 55 years.
It's been a little while. It's been a little while. I'm not going to lie to you. It's been a little while.
Never beat the Eagles.
This is the year where we changed like that. We change it up just like that. Just like that. We change it up. I think we got to take a break. Pretty sure about that. So let's take a break. We got First in Football coming your way. Let me just take a look at my sheet here. We've got the best odds to win the Super Bowl. We've got the latest on Deshaun Watson. We've got Kenny Pickett. We've got Anthony Richardson. We got C.J. Stroud. And we got much more pigskin right after this on FS1. I know this show's on early, and if you're out in California, you have other things on your mind because there have been hurricanes and earthquakes, but this is where the Dodgers play baseball. Chavez Ravine, right? So I never knew it was actually a ravine. I've never been there, but that's incredible pictures, isn't it, Greg?
That is stunning. This looks photoshopped.
Yeah, it's not. That is underwater, legitimately. So for those of you that are out in California, obviously you have other concerns than worrying about football or baseball today. So we wish you the very best as you get through the storms this past weekend. But that photo's making the rounds.
Wow.
And when I saw it, I was like, yikes, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, that's what's going on out there. All right, let's get into it. I don't know why my voice is going like that right now, but it's time for because I'm talking so much. Time for First in Football. And I'm very interested about this. The odds have come out. Odds to win the Super Bowl. No surprise, Kansas City is number one. I'll even tell you no surprise that the Eagles are number two. But Greg, how are the Bills number three? Explain that to me. They're not even going to win the division.
I can't really explain this. I'm not going to say they're not going to win their division. I think just based off of what we've expected the Bills to be the last few years, we're going to maintain their positioning.
Yeah, I disagree with that.
I don't agree with this. And I've been, all last year I was breaking tables. I was Buffalo Bills. They're gonna dethrone the Kansas City Chiefs. It did not happen. I don't believe in the Bills because there comes a point where your window of opportunity, it starts to close. And it's starting to close on the Buffalo Bills. I think they're still a really good football team.
Yeah.
But as far as winning it all, it's going to be tough.
I think the other point is, there's a recency bias, usually. Not with the odds, it doesn't exist, but my last memory of the Buffalo Bills on the field is getting manhandled by the Cincinnati Bengals offense and defensive line in Buffalo. And that's my lasting memory. Of course, you have Josh Allen fighting with Stephon Diggs and the offseason nonsense about allegedly them all not being on the same page. But in their own building, in a snowstorm, they barely beat the Miami Dolphins. Mm-hmm. And then they got their asses handed to them against the Bengals.
Yeah, when you say manhandled, you are being nice. Yeah. They got absolutely embarrassed by the Bengals. Like, it wasn't even a contest. And so when you look at that, you think about the team that sits on top in the Kansas City Chiefs. It's like all these teams are improving. You think about the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, do I believe that the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to win the Super Bowl? No, I do not. But they are a team that's gotten better.
Sure.
You think about the Chargers. All these other teams, your Jets.
Yeah.
Even in that division, it's going to be tough for them to maintain the integrity of we're going to win this division.
Which is why also what Kansas City is doing is so amazing because the AFC's got legitimately 8 quarterbacks deep, any one of which you could see them making a run to a potential AFC championship game or even the Super Bowl. The depth of quarterback is ridiculous in the AFC. And now you add Aaron Rodgers, obviously, to the New York Jets. So, yeah, if you're the Bills, you may not be the best team in your division for the first time in 4 years.
Yeah, and that has always been something that they've been able to hang their hat on ever since Tom Brady left the New England Patriots.
Right.
Is we're going to win this division. So
easily.
You're going to get into the postseason. You're going to get a home playoff game. You got that locked up. Well, that's no longer the case. And then to your point, all the other quarterbacks and all the other teams, they're just closing the gap. And so for us to – there's a reason why the Kansas City Chiefs are there.
Yeah.
Because they continue to be the best. So you can't move them. The Buffalo Bills have not even made it to the AFC Championship game the last couple years. And so for them to be above the teams like the Bengals, and
again, it means nothing. It's just the way the gambling public
Correct.
is wagering on. And I'll give you an example. Like right now, 90% of the money being wagered on the Bills-Jets game is actually on Buffalo, not on the Jets. It doesn't mean anything. It just gives you a sense of, a little temperature test of the public. And right now, that could also mean that Bills fans just wager a lot more than other teams, which is why like Dallas Cowboy lines are always inflated because there are so many Cowboy fans. But it was interesting that the Bills are where they are when it comes to preseason wagers on winning a Super Bowl. All right, Cleveland. One of the big acquisitions for Cleveland second football is Elijah Moore. They got him, of course, from the New York Jets. And Elijah was talking about how important the connection is with Deshaun Watson. Go ahead.
People I think is slept on how much, the off the field comes first. Like in the game, Coach harps on us about picking up your brother. You see what I'm saying? And when that's your dog, when that's one of your best friends, you're going to make sure that you pick him up. So I think it is super important that we did that and that we continue to hang out and know each other on a personal level.
It's what you talked about when Aaron Rodgers became a Jet. It ain't about on the field. You want to have a close personal relationship off the field, dinner with families, barbecues, bowling, whatever it might be, because he's right. If I care about you personally, I'm going to behave in a certain manner on the field because I do care about you. And I know that sounds kind of like cliche-ish, but I think you can speak to it. It's real.
It is a 100% fact. When you have a relationship with someone off the field, not only are you going to be more invested, you can talk to and have the lines of communication just be what it is, because we know our relationship is solid off the field. Right. So what happens on this field, how I respond, whether good, bad, I'm confronting you about a situation. You're not going to be sensitive to it because you know what our relationship is. And so this matters. When you look at a guy like Deshaun Watson, who struggled, who hasn't looked great all preseason long or in their practices or what have you, you have to support him not only on the field, you have to build his confidence off the field. It's kind of what I believe the Dallas Cowboys, you alluded to this, doing with Dak Prescott, why we probably haven't seen him in some of these preseason games, so they can build that confidence and rapport with the guys in that locker room first.
Now, one of just to give you an update on Elijah Moore, who's a talented young receiver, played for the Jets, and when they got Garrett Wilson, he was marginalized a bit in that offense. His issue was, how come I'm not getting enough targets? Like a lot of wide receivers, you can speak to that. It's about, hey, I'm always open. You only threw me the ball twice, and I had one catch. So there's an ego involved in this as well. And it's not stupid for him to become good friends with Deshaun Watson. You might get the ball more.
Yeah, naturally what happens is you develop the trust and relationship with the quarterback, and they have this tendency to kind of look your way. It's not always going to happen, but when you got a guy on the side of you named Amari Cooper, he's going to get them.
Yes,
he's going to get a lot of targets.
But that's what Elijah Moore was upset about in New York. I'm not getting the ball out. Now, to be fair to Elijah, look who your quarterbacks were, man.
Yeah.
You had Joe Flacco,
it was just a lot
Mike
of immaturity
White,
on his
and Zach
on his
Wilson.
behalf.
You're lucky you got any footballs thrown within 5 yards of your catch radius.
Yeah. It was a lot of immaturity on his behalf. He came in, he was first, and then Garrett Wilson comes in, he's a rookie, and all of a sudden he's taking opportunities.
Catch radius is so stupid. Like, normal people don't talk that way. Can I put out a Fox memo?
We always talk about catch radius.
Can I tell Emmy Award-winning Greg Olsen that he should not use the term catch radius this year on any Fox broadcast?
He's a tight end. It is a tight end thing. Like, because they are typically larger human beings. Yeah. Their wingspans are more massive.
Let me ask you a question. Did you ever hear two kids riding their bicycles down to a sound like going, one day I hope to have a great catch radius? No.
I did last week.
No, you didn't. You were kids going, man, I hope I could play like Odell Beckham. No one ever said, my catch radius is a little small. I got pterodactyl
Why
arms.
do you have to do the voice?
I'm just saying. Let's talk like people. That's a memo to Fox. I'll probably get an email about that later on.
It already happened for sure.
We should put out a memo. Talk like people talk, right?
Sure.
I'll give you another example, a little pet peeve of mine. I don't like it when I hear broadcasters say, in the National Football League. No one talks like that. It's in the NFL, right? You with me on that one or no? That's so much. I wouldn't look too far on that.
I mean, a little bit. I mean, it's whatever you're...
Did you ever say to your daughters at home, honey, in the National Football League? No. You said, sweetheart, in the NFL, it goes like this, right?
Well, yes, but also...
Did you ever talk about catch radius to your kids?
Hold on, because I can say... I also say in our house and in the Jennings house.
Yeah.
I say both.
Do you?
I do.
Of course, your radius is limited with that Fugazi.
My radius is great. My radius is great.
By the way, I just out of curiosity, can I see your the hand? If I pull this way, would that be bad for you?
Come on, man. Whoa, what do we do?
I just wanted it out. I guess it is a real injury. All right, third and football. Mr. Kenny Pickett played a little preseason football for Pittsburgh. 3 for 4, 43 yards, and that's the one touchdown. Again, that's the game. Remember, the Bills played like crap in that they were talking about afterwards, but Kenny Pickett looked pretty good. Looks like he can play.
He did. I always like to have these moments with you because last year when I was
behind him, of course.
When I was talking this Kenny Pickett and George Pickens talk, you were kind of poo-pooing it.
Because I don't think Kenny Pickett's a very good quarterback yet. And again, to be fair, he was a rookie.
Exactly.
I also don't like the fact that he wears gloves on both hands. Yeah. That's to my eyes. It's annoying to me.
That's why I call it Teddy Two Gloves.
Yeah.
He wore gloves on both hands. It's a thing. It's
you're not an NFL quarterback.
It is what it is. If it helps you spin that ball, do whatever you need to do.
I agree with you on that. You're in the NFL, throw the ball. And if wearing a glove, I get it. I just don't like the way it looks. It's just on me. It's aesthetics. That being said, he threw the ball behind the tight end, but it was a touchdown.
It's more of a back shoulder.
Happy.
It's more of a back shoulder to get the tight end to turn, stop.
Okay. Kenny Pickett was talking about how his goal this year is more explosive plays. One of the knocks on the Steeler offense last year was that it was like dink and dunk and dink and dunk, that type of thing. That this year, as he now emerges as a legitimate franchise quarterback, and this is the year that most quarterbacks, if they're going to make that leap, it's year 1 to year 2 because they get comfortable with the speed of the game. If he's got a guy like George Pickens, that lends itself to a more explosive offense.
Yeah, you got to give guys like that. They have a lot of guys actually on that offensive side, especially at the receiver position, that he has to get the ball down the field and allow those guys to make plays. But in his defense, as a rookie coming in, typically your offensive coordinator, your play caller is going to be in your ear, always reminding you, if you don't have this, or that, check it down. That's why we see young quarterbacks constantly checking it down to running backs or the tight end.
Like a security blanket?
Because it's an easy pop pass. They don't have to really think about it. Get it to your check down. Yep. Don't try to force anything down the field. That's what typically happens when you're a rookie quarterback. Now, year 2, year 3, you're starting to be exposed more. The expectations are, we got to open up our offense a lot more.
And he's got a guy that can go deep.
Absolutely.
Might as well throw him the ball deep. All right, third and football. I didn't quite understand this one this weekend. The Colts announced that Anthony Richardson, they're just stupid, is going to be the week 1 starter. I'm good with that. But then they sat him for the second preseason game like he's been the starter for a long time. And for me, I respect he's gotten a couple snaps in a real game, week 1 of the preseason, but this is still a rookie quarterback who is going to struggle because they all do. Why not get him some more reps?
Yeah, I would have loved to see them get him more reps. And it's not even just the reps that he's going to take offensively. It's the reps that he's going to see from defenses, like processing what defenses
more
they're
mental
in.
Than physical.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Getting your offensive line in the right checks, communicating with your center. All those things are going to have to be points of emphasis moving into the season, and you would like to see him get more opportunities at those types of things earlier rather than later.
Man, of all the rookie quarterbacks, look, to be fair, outside of the Jets, I have no rooting interest in which one of those kids has the best rookie season. C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young, Anthony Richardson. But the way that kid looks and the things we now know for a fact he can do athletically, he's a 250-pound quarterback. Can you show that throw again? I know this throw means nothing, But there are three guys in the league that can make this throw.
It means a lot.
Like, he threw that ball to the next county. No joke.
This is the throw Patrick Mahomes was making, running out of bounds with the 5 Cardinals chasing him. He just threw it 60 yards down.
Like it was nothing. Yeah, like it was you and I with a Nerf ball type of thing. Let me give you a fourth in football. Speaking of the rookie quarterbacks, C.J. Stroud, who I truly thought was the most NFL ready coming out of the draft for his rookie season, did acknowledge that the game is starting to slow down for him. Here's C.J. Stroud.
I think I'm taking steps every week. I'm starting to see the game starting to slow down for me, and just seeing things a lot more clean. And situations like that, I just the quicker I can get up there and diagnose the coverage and the blitz look or whatever it is, the more dynamic his offense will be. And once you put pressure on defenses, that's when you put them in a rock and a hard place. And
it's funny, that's exactly what you're alluding to with Anthony Richardson, that until you're on the field and you see it, you can look at all the film you want. Mm-hmm. You got to see it standing behind your offensive line.
Yeah, when he's talking about getting up to the line and being able to diagnose what the defense is looking at and what you're seeing, what's going to come, who's coming in for a blitz and who's hot, all those things, it's when you talk about it happening fast and things slow down, all those things start to happen as you break the huddle and you turn and you look. And now you start to assess. Before you even get underneath the center, you're already processing what the defense is doing. As a rookie, I don't care if you're at a receiver position, but even more importantly at the quarterback position, that starts to happen. Everything is happening so fast. Once you're walking to the line, you're trying to remember the play call. You're trying to make sure that you got guys lined up in the right spot. And now you're starting to break down what's happening on the defense side of the ball. That's happening too late. The play clock is rolling down.
Right.
All those things are beneficial to a quarterback, and their exposure to it, the sooner they can get it done and the more frequently it happens. That's why the Anthony Richardson thing for me is like a little odd, but he's absolutely right. The game is slowing down. He has struggled.
Yeah.
He had moments in this last preseason game where you saw he started to get a little bit more comfortable. That's going to be the entire season for guys like this.
He was 7-12 for 60 yards. I know it's meaningless, but he did throw the ball 12 times against the Dolphins. And he's right. It's about slowing everything down. Like, you can't appreciate the difference. You can play great Division I college football. The NFL, it's a different group. Like, you have dudes 250 running 4.40s. And hurting you, and it hurts.
Yeah. Typically, when you're at those schools like the Ohio States, you have an advantage up front.
Yes.
So you're going to be sitting in the pocket with more time to throw the ball. In the National Football League, I don't care if you are the Arizona Cardinals or you are the Kansas City Chiefs.
Probably not the Arizona Cardinals, just for the sake of the conversation.
No, I don't
any
care.
random team, sure.
They're going to get after the quarterback. You only got a certain amount of time to get that ball out
like
of your
2 seconds.
Like, period.
It's no joke. If you want to be a quarterback, it's like this. Hut 1, hut 2, hut 1, 2. Throw the ball, or else you're dead.
You better.
Like 2 seconds. Think about all the things you can't do in 2 seconds.
Like some
of us. All right. I'm just feeling crazy. 7 seconds, whole different ball game.
Oh, no. Why do we have people in the back, Greg? What are we doing?
Because we're all men. We all know what I'm talking about.
Exactly. Don't egg this man on.
By the way, and my lower back's killing me from sitting for the first 2 hours of the show. So that experiment is over. Coming up, headlines including Aaron Rodgers playing a preseason game this upcoming weekend. And we'll be at Jets training camp on Wednesday to talk to him about it too. That's next. Welcome back. Time for Late Show headlines. And yes, the greatest number 8 in all of New York and New Jersey allegedly, reportedly, is going to be on the field when the Jets play the Giants in the final preseason game of the summer. Thank God. Because I'm sick and tired of watching him on the sideline in street clothes, calling plays, having the headset on, and watching Zach Wilson fumble around what's supposed to be a very good offense. And I know you like it too, Gregor.
I do. I absolutely love it to see Aaron Rodgers back in preseason play.
First time since 2018.
Since 2018. Yeah. This is a guy who understands what's at stake. He wants to get the ball rolling and get it rolling in the right direction in terms of establishing relationships and rapport and continuity with the guys that he's going to be in that huddle with, taking that field with. And I don't blame him one bit, because when you look at the struggles of the New York Jets, it was on that offensive side of the ball. We've heard Robert Saleh call out that offense because of their lack of ability to sustain their blocks up front.
Yeah, the offensive line's a problem.
Offensive line being a problem. But he will help solidify a lot of that, putting them in the right position, protection calls, and just finding out who needs to be where. This is why you would like to see him.
And look, I think I want to keep this very simple. He doesn't play a half. You go out there with your starters. You go out there with what you project to be your starting offensive line, right? So that means Mekhi Becton's your right tackle.
Yep.
He's your right tackle. And all you need is one drive. You need one drive where it's crisp. He's got protection. He's hitting guys here, there, 5 or 6 passes, couple runs. Feel good, look good, we're good. But I do think it's important that they have that.
Yeah, and again, like I said, it's different with him being in the huddle, the way that he approaches the huddle versus Zach Wilson, the way the guys respond to him in the huddle versus Zach Wilson is going to always be different.
Sure.
There's going to be a different amount of reverence there just because you know what he's bringing to the table, where you've questioned everything that Zach Wilson has brought to the table, if he's brought anything. However, looking at the receivers, you're going to be excited. I want to be out there if he's out there.
Like Alan Lazard in the game over the weekend against Tampa ran the most basic slant pattern that's ever existed, and Zach Wilson threw the ball 3 yards behind him. Incomplete pass. It's frustrating, right? You want to just have some rhythm. You want to see what the offense is capable of, and then get off the field. But one drive. You got to give me one drive.
Yeah. To that point, it is challenging for a receiver like Alan Lazard to go from always seeing a ball where it needs to be in Aaron Rodgers to then playing with a quarterback that's slightly off, not as accurate. I remember playing in the Pro Bowl with Cam Newton. It's kind of a shot at Cam, but he was a rookie. I had played with Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers my entire career.
Not bad.
Not bad.
Right.
We go to the Pro Bowl and the practices and we get in the game and I look at Steve Smith and I'm like, dude, how do you play with him? Because Steve has to make a lot of plays. I'm not the type of receiver that just runs and just gets hit. That's just not me. I see the defense. I'm not trying to go and just run into it. He threw me a slant, and I can't do it because my mind was focused on trying to protect myself versus just being able to freely run my routes. Those are the types of issues that you have with receivers when they have a quarterback that they know they trust and a quarterback that they don't.
Now, I just want to be clear. It is reported, so it's not 100%. But it seems like it's going to happen where Aaron Rodgers does suit up for the first time for the New York Jets against the Giants this upcoming weekend. Headline number 2, Brock Purdy is the guy in San Francisco. Goes 4 for 5, 65 yards. And again, smooth, impressive, not missing a beat.
Yeah, this is exactly what you want to see from the 49ers camp. A guy who you deem to be your number one guy come out and play in the preseason. It also shows me that he is ready to go because you do not put him in a preseason game that means absolutely nothing unless he is 100% ready to go. And so with Brock Purdy being out there, I'm excited to see, can he be the guy that we saw last year going into that NFC Championship game? Can he take that and add to it?
Yeah, and San Francisco was smart. He had most of the starters on the field with him.
You can't put him out there unless that's the case.
You got to make sure he's protected, and he's got guys that are going to be running the exact routes that he's going to have to throw in a couple weeks. So if you're a 49er fan, Brock Purdy solidified the fact that he is the number one quarterback in San Francisco. And that brings me, yes, to headline number 3. I'm not even going to say anything. Craig Jennings, go ahead. Go ahead.
Danny Dimes. Daniel Daniel Jones, the best number 8 quarterback right now. No, I'm not going to say that. Let me stop. No, Daniel Jones has been looking absolutely great. Last preseason game, I get it against the Carolina Panthers, but this is exactly what you want to see. You want to see your quarterback that you've just locked up for a long-term contract come out and establish the fact that this is my offense. I know exactly what we're trying to get done. I'm going to hit this new target that I'm going to hit every single time we're on the field together, and Darren Waller and the other pieces. We saw Paris Campbell get involved. We saw Hodgins get involved. And this is all without Saquon Barkley being on the field. So if you're Brian Daboll, you like what you see out of your quarterback. And yes, I'm going to say it. I told you so.
You told me what?
He's a top 10 guy. And matter of fact,
it was one drive in the preseason.
In my book, he's moving on up.
Moving on up.
He's moving on up.
Moving on up.
Yeah, let's go. This is my newly updated top 10 QB rankings. And again, let me say this. This is no knock on Trevor Lawrence. No. This is not a knock on Trevor Lawrence because Trevor Lawrence has not done anything wrong.
Why do you hate Trevor Lawrence?
Daniel Jones has just been this good. In a preseason game.
It was one drive.
In a preseason drive.
So one preseason drive. He leapfrogged.
He confirmed it. Boom. He confirmed it. Stamped, signed, delivered.
You hate Trevor Lawrence?
No, I love Trevor Lawrence.
Doesn't seem like it.
I do love Trevor Lawrence. It just so happened he was the quarterback that I had right slightly in front of.
I know what's happening here. You're slowly inching Daniel Jones towards Aaron Rodgers.
Wait.
God forbid he has a good drive against the Jets.
Hey, look, I know
where that's going to go.
I'm just stating the facts. I don't want anybody to start jumping on the whole Daniel Jones in top 10 because all of you have been doubting me and saying.
I will say this about the Giants. You know, we always talk about in the preseason, it's paramount. Protect your quarterback. Don't let your starting quarterback get hurt. And it makes sense, right? Mm-hmm. When it comes to the Giants, obviously Daniel Jones has to be protected. But I wouldn't let Darren Waller see the field again until September 10th. Because that might be Saquon is Saquon, all due respect. Mm-hmm. That dude's health might be the most important piece of the New York Giants for 23.
It will be, and it is. I truly believe so. He looks great. He's obviously healthy, and you're absolutely right. When you think about the success of Daniel Jones moving forward, his progression is going to have to be beyond Saquon. We know Saquon was a large part of what they did offensively last year, but now you have receivers, you have weapons that you are starting to put around and place around this quarterback, and none more important than Darren Waller. I don't even want to say it, but Darren Waller has to be healthy.
I agree 100%. He's a difference maker. He's been a difference maker since he got to New York, and he had 3 catches in that game. And by the way, he's wearing number 12, which, again, kind of odd. Not as odd as Teddy Two Gloves wearing number 50 as quarterback, but Darren Waller will be rocking the number 12 for the New York Giants this year. We got one more segment to go. Jerry Jones has spoken. Do you think he said the Cowboys can win it all this year? No. Or do you think he said the Cowboys have no chance? I'll give you the answer right after this. Hey, here's something you've heard before. Jerry Jones says this year the Dallas Cowboys are in a great position to win it all. He's never said that before, has he, Greg? Nope, except he said it last year and the year before that and the year before that and on and on and on and on and on. It's been 30 years since the Dallas Cowboys won the Super Bowl. But as you see in the middle of the screen right there, I think this year we're in better position to win it than we have been in many, many years. That's why I love Jerry Jones. Always the optimist. I love that.
Staying on brand. This is who he is. He's going to always has a chance to do something that they haven't done in over 25
and amazingly years. We believe it every single year.
We believe it because they actually, what he's saying, there's some validity to it.
Javon Diggs, Micah Parsons, et cetera.
On paper, you can line this team up against anyone in the National Football League, and on paper they win.
Yeah.
It's just when they have to actually play, that's when they start to fall apart because their quarterback play
and they've got the newest phenom in the league, Deuce Vaughn. the little running back that could, who, by the way, scored a touchdown over the weekend. And I'm in love with Deuce Vaughn. He's my new non-Jet favorite player in the NFL. Love him, love him. He's 2'9" tall.
Look,
and the guy, yeah,
and he's going to be a problem for every opposing defensive line.
You can't see him
because you can't see him.
Like, where did he go? Where did he go? Where did he go? Oh man, he's in the end zone. That damn touchdown. He's gonna be the rookie of the year. Offensive rookie of the year.
No.
Don't sleep on my guy, Deuce Vaughn.
No, I'm not going to go that far.
Watch this run right here.
This is a great run.
Smith, get in the end zone, kid. Yeah. And by the way, it's not like they just found him on the street. The kid was a great college player.
He was at Kansas State. He did this very thing. Again, when you have smaller running backs that can hide behind offensive lines, they hit that hole and they kind of appear on guys and they get to them late. They make them miss and
he might become the Cowboys starting tailback by Thanksgiving. Tony Pollard's coming off the broken ankle. I don't know what he's got left in the tank. I would not be shocked if Deuce Vaughn takes the NFL by storm this year. And, like, jerseys flying off the shelves.
It would be a great story.
So it doesn't cost as much.
It would be a great story. I'm never opposed to it. I wish him all the best.
But, by the way, does his jersey cost less?
I'm sorry. That might have been the best one today.
Because, like, I've seen, like, I have some friends who are like 4XLs. The jerseys cost more. So if you got a Deuce Vaughn jersey,
less fabric.
Yeah, I'm assuming it costs less. Is that not a fair question to ask?
That's a fair question.
Yeah, I thought so. All right. Just things on my mind. All right, let's get to Like It or Spike It before we get out of here today. All right, let's stop. You know how it goes, Greg. You ready to go?
Absolutely.
All right, let me start you off with Bryson Stott's pencil bat. An ode to the Little League World Series over the weekend. Like it or spike it?
I like it, man. I like the acknowledgement of the Little League World Series and all the things.
There you go.
I don't like the fact that he went 1 for 4. I mean, you got to do something with it.
I think it's distracting, but it's pretty cool.
It is. It's super cool.
So we like that one. Then there's another guy who had a Crayola crayon inspired bat. That's not a great picture of it.
Yeah,
but just take my word for it.
Get a different color, like green maybe. I don't know, something that we can see. But I like it, again.
And then one quick thing before we get out of here. Lionel Messi showed you again that American soccer stinks. With another goal. Here he is with the left foot. Lionel Messi.
Can't help but to like this. Can't help but to like it.
I like it. We all like it. Hey.